Whew. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Building Investors YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working on this door over here, making sure that it seals properly, because right now the garage is on the other side of this, so if I open the door, it's the garage. And then these door seals on the side are just trash. Basically, I'll show you a close up here in a second, but it's letting a lot of cold air through, which is not good. And then also this doorknob down here, it doesn't lock anymore, so we're going to replace that. I don't currently have the hinges to replace those, but once I do, I will replace them. Right now they'll be fine. They're just painted over and they look ugly. So the nice thing about these hinges though is that they're the spring-loaded hinges, so the door automatically will close by itself. So most doors you don't want that. Like, you don't want your interior doors to swing and shut, but when your garage door goes outside, it's kind of nice that it swings shut. So with no further ado, let's take the door off, take the doorknob off, and start cleaning everything up, because we're going to paint the door jamb, put new seals on it, put new doorknob on it, and bada bing bada boom, put together. So if you're here for a specific reason, like how do I do door seals, just skip ahead to that part of the video where I'm putting the new door seals in. I don't know exactly what number that is yet because I haven't done it, obviously. Or if you're just looking for new doorknobs, how to put those on, just skip ahead till I get to that point. I'll explain it. So anywho, no further ado, let's take this door off its hinges and make it look better. Okay, to take a doorknob off, you're just going to have two little Phillips head screws. So just put your screwdriver in there, or your impact, whichever one you want. It's easier to use this. So back those babies out, and then you can pull that off, and then the other side off. Sometimes you have to push that knob in a little bit, and then to get this off, this is going to be two screws on this side. Okay, that's how you take a doorknob off. Two screws on this and two screws on this, and that is it. And we'll worry about putting the new doorknob in once we get everything painted. So, and then for the hinges over here, it's going to be the same process. Basically, just take all these screws off, take those screws off, and they'll separate from the door. Usually I just do one side and then I take the door off and I do the other side later. So we'll take all those screws off and take the door off, and then we'll work on these nasty painted over door seals. This side's actually usable. This side is just a Mod Podge. So take the door off. Okay, a little pro tip, if you're taking the door hinges off, start on the bottom and work your way up, because if you take the top off first, the door will fall and then you could bend your hinges, or it could hurt something else or somebody. So take it off the bottom and work your way up. When you get to the last screw out the top, you can take the door off and hold it together. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Sorry about the blood on my face. I just shaved my face to make my video look better, because I looked a little homeless again, and I haven't been used to shaving, so got a little nick. So the door's off, let's go put it in here. So if I were doing this for a customer's house and I wanted to get done as quick as possible, I would paint that side of the door right now. I would clean it and paint it. That way when I go to stick it back up, it has the most chance of being dry, because that's the side that the door seals touch. And so when you close the door that's freshly painted, it's not going to look good, because either it'll stick to it or leave paint on the new door seals. So I'm going to clean that and paint that here shortly, but not as quickly as if I would do it for a customer. Right now I'm going to work on these door seals and get those taken off. Probably do a light sand on everything to get rid of some of these bad touch-up spots where they put nails in or globbed it with some paint. And then we can get this door frame painted as well, and then clean the door seal as well, because I mean the threshold, because it's nasty dirty. So let's clean it up. Okay, so I'm getting ready to sand the door frame and probably the face of this door. And you can buy sandpaper for your sanders that fit your sanding thing. Sanding pad, I should say. But it's usually cheaper to buy the sheets of sandpaper. And then if you take it and you fold it in half, as best as possible, it doesn't have to be precise. You get a half a sheet. And if you fold it in half the other direction, after you cut it, so let me cut it real quick. You can bend it back and forth and break it, or if you just have a sharp knife, you can follow that half cut line there, and then pop, and then fold this in half, and you get a quarter. And then once you cut that off, or break it off, you can take this, and this fits your sanders perfectly. So you can take the little thing on the end here, push it in. If you have this brand of sander, release it, and then fold it over, and then the back clamp holds that, and you're good to go. Now you have 3 more pieces if you want, and you can do that with any grit. And then they have that hole punch like I showed in the short videos, where you punch the holes and it sucks the air through there, so you don't get a bunch of dust. For this application, I'm not going to punch the holes, I'm just going to sand. So let's get to it. Okay, here's where we are at. We've got everything sanded and cleaned. Now on the base plate here, the threshold they call it, it had a bunch of gunk from tape and stuff that they had put down to try to seal the door properly. Or improperly, I should say. And so you saw me brush on some stuff. All I was using was some mineral spirits to get rid of the goo. Then I came back with a bristle brush and some Dawn dish soap and cleaned up the rest of the gunk. So it looks about as good as it can. I'll come back and I'll probably paint this lip white, and then the top I'll just leave and clear coat later. So it looks kind of like a normal piece of trim. And then this, as you can see, it's a little beat up. Not the worst. We got it sanded, so it's nice and clean and ready to paint. All the gunk from that tape and stuff they had on it is off. So now we can come back through and paint it. And the reason we're not buying a whole new door is that's expensive. So why would I would say maybe a door like this, including the trim and everything, would probably come out to $325. So if I can clean it up and paint it and make it functional, usable, and new and fresh, then I will. It'll probably cost me, well, I'm using the same color as the walls, because in this house we're painting the trim the same color as the walls. The door will be the same color as well, so that's easy. So basically nothing in cost and paint. An old brush I have to brush it on, and maybe a roller. That's about it. So just some elbow grease, and you've got a brand new door for maybe $5. So anywho, let's get to painting, and then we'll worry about the door. And then once the paint dries around here, we'll put the door seals on, put the door back on, and it'll look good. So let's get to painting. Okay, this is where we're at so far. We've got sunglasses on because we were using a wire wheel. But anyways, we've got this painted. So that's all nice. We might do a little touch up later. And then we got the transition piece there all cleaned up and shiny. So that's looking really good. And it's actually quite smooth, and it's already dry. So our next step is to put the door seals in. I'll show you how to do that. While we wait on the door to dry, I made a video of painting this, but apparently I forgot to hit record. So I'll get to tell you again. So I would recommend, if you're in a hurry, like in the garage here, it's usually cold, but right now I have a heater because I've been doing some projects in here. So it's not a big deal to have this door off right now, but if this garage was cold, you would want to get this door back on as quick as possible. And the way I do that is I paint the perimeter of the door where the door seal is going to touch. That way it can dry while I'm working on other projects. So I painted the sides, and I painted the perimeter on this side, and then the doorknob on both sides. That way I can get the door put back up and installed, and it won't be sticking to the door seals around the perimeter. And so while that's drying, we can put the door seals on over here, which is pretty simple. You see this groove that's cut inside here? That's where you put the new door seals on. So once it's dry, you can slide that in there and you cut the length and it'll be nice and new. So let this dry just a tiny bit more and then we can put the door seals on. Okay, so the slots on those sides and the top receive this, which is the weather stripping the door seal. See how it compresses there when the door closes? Right here on the back, it's got this little slit with those little barbs on it. You slide those into the side and push them in and it locks it in place, and then you can trim it just with a pair of snips or a pair of scissors or a knife. So let's put it in there and cut it off. And then the same on that side and the top. And just like that, we've got a nice new clean door seal, door jamb combo. So that looks so much better. Now we can install the door, put the door handle on, and be finished. Booyah. Okay, now that the doors are dry, now that the door is dry, we can hang it back up. It's not super difficult, unless you're like me and you throw away all the screws that hold the hinges up because you think you're not going to use them, and then all of a sudden you need them and they're on the bottom of the trash. Thankfully, the bottom of the trash was clean. There wasn't much garbage in there, so we'll pick these back out. But now, we can take the door and hang it back up, and that's just as simple as picking it up and screwing it back in. So, let's do it. Yeah. Okay. Now on this, I usually do it backwards. I stick the top in first and let the gravity hold it, and then I put the other ones in. Then I come back and adjust it. Just like that. Now I can put the rest of the screws in and get her done. Booyah. Now as you can see, the door still isn't painted, but that's not a problem because where the door seal is, it's painted. So now we can paint it with the door closed and let it dry however long it takes. So next step is to put this on. It's just a simple door lock, so I'll show you how to do that real quick too. Okay, inside this package is the door handles themselves, locking side and the non-locking side. And then you've got the actual door latch itself. And then there should be a little package, the striker, and then the screws. It's pretty simple. First thing you're going to want to install is this. And that's as easy as sticking it in the slot here on the side. And you're going to want the beveled side to where when the door closes, it was able to push in. Because if you turn it this way, it's just going to, it's just going to collide. So you want it to be this way. That way it's smooth and it closes like that. So this way towards the side that closes. Slide it in and then take two of these wood screws. So you come with 4 of these. 2 of them are for this, and 2 of them for the striker. And then the next thing I put on is the striker. It goes back in the slot over here. So I move so you can see what I'm doing. Basically, you stick it there, and when you have a new door, it has a designated spot for it. And the old doors, you kind of got to guess, because it could be in the right spot or not. I'll put it right where they had it and hope it works, and if not, I'll come adjust it afterwards. Now, let's put the door handle on. Move it back up here. So you've got the outside side and the inside side. Obviously, because you've got the one that locks on this side, and there's no key on this one because this is like a bathroom lock. Because if you're coming from the garage, you're going to be coming through this way and not that side. So this side goes on the outside. And then this side over here, and you just line up this thing here. Let's take this off. I think. There we go, that fits better. Now the hardest part is to get these screws to go into the other side. But all you gotta do is put one in, and then line it up with the hole, and kind of fish around a little bit. And then you can tighten it a bit with your Phillips. And then put the next one in. And tighten it down. Test it out, make sure it works. Ta-da! Now, I'm not a huge fan of the huge gap in this door, but let me show you. If this door is set properly, there'd be much less of a gap right here. See, that gap's still too big, so that door should have been shimmed over a bit when it was in. But overall, it's not terrible. You can see how big of a gap, it's barely holding on to that latch right there. But there's not much I can do about it unless I take this door apart and re-shim it out. So as long as it's holding, I'm fine. And sealing it against these nice new seals. Look at that. Nice and tight, no light coming through. Let me zoom back here a bit. Oh man, it looks so much better. So now all we have to do is to paint this side of the door, and then this side of the door, and we'll be done. So as you can see, these hinges are shiny. It's because they were globbed with paint, and then I took a wire wheel and took off some of the paint. These will be replaced eventually, or I'll spray paint them so they look a little sharper. But once this door's painted, it'll look great. So let's go ahead and do that. And just like that, the door is painted and finished. Voila. Now obviously a better way to paint it would be to sand it completely bare metal and then prime it and paint it with like an oil-based paint that you use in a spray gun. But this door's already been painted with a brush and roller, so sanding it and putting this paint on will be fine, and it sticks quite well. I've done a lot of doors like this in rentals, and it's totally fine. If you're going for high-end luxury, that's not what you would do. But to get this house looking good and in top shape rentable status, painting it with a brush and roller is just fine, as long as you don't leave too many strokes or roller marks. So once that door dries, then we can close it and be done with this project for good. But overall, it's looking pretty sharp. Let me give you a close-up. I think the thing I'm most excited about is this door frame. Let me check it out. It looks like a brand new door, except for these big old nails that someone drove in here to keep the door from falling around. But looks like I just bought a brand new door casing, put it in, all for a few bucks. I guess the things that cost the most are these pieces, the door seals. Those are $6.50 a piece. Had to buy 3 of them. So I guess for about 25 bucks, got this whole thing done. Does that look sharp? Man, it just looks good. I wish I could close the door so I could show you what it looks like closed. But once it's dry, maybe I'll do that. Ooh, yeah, stay tuned. Once it dries, I'll give you a little clip of that right after I say my goodbyes. So if you're watching my videos and you ever have any questions about how to do certain projects or certain fun things that you'd like to see me do, please leave in the comments below. I am not shy about having suggestions on what to do. More comments the merrier. This is a simple project to me, but it's maybe something you've never done before, so I'm happy to explain any detail possible to help you guys get your projects done at home. Hope you enjoyed watching this video very much, and I hope that you go in the links below and look at all the things I have in the description. And I hope you watch more of my videos. If we can get, if every subscriber I should say, of this channel were to watch 1 hour, we would get monetized. We'd be making money. Wouldn't that great? It's amazing. We're getting close. We're at 3,779 subscribers. That goes up and down every day, but I am excited. We're getting there. We are growing. I can't wait till we're big. We're a big channel. We're big boys, big girls. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like down below and a comment, like I said. Catch you later. Have a good one. God bless.